Hi, I'm Dave Skylark, and today we're going to learn about rocks. So I've invited here today Dr. Igneous. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
So we want to know, what are the two types of igneous rocks?
Intrusive and extrusive.
And how do they form, and an example of each one?
Intrusive igneous rocks form when magma cools and solidifies within Earth's crust. An example of that is gabbro. Extrusive igneous rocks form when molten rock erupts or flows above Earth's surface as lava and cools, forming rock. An example is obsidian.
Well, that's very interesting. And lastly, could you give us two uses of igneous rocks?
Sure. Yes, igneous rocks are used in concrete, which is basalt, and pumice can be used to get dead skin off the bottom of your feet.
Well, I guess that's all we have time for today, folks. Tune in next time for the next type of rock. Hi, I'm Dave Skylark, and this is the next episode of How to Learn About Rocks. So I've invited here today Dr. Metamorphic.
I'm Mrs. Skylark. Happy to be here tonight.
Well, that's great. So, what are the two types of metamorphic rocks?
Well, the two types of metamorphic would be foliated and non-foliated.
And could you tell us how they're formed and an example of each one?
Well, foliated rocks are formed within the Earth's interior in extremely high pressures that are unequal, occurring when the pressure is greater in one direction than others. Example is slate. Non-foliated metamorphic rocks are formed around igneous intrusions, where the temperatures are high but the pressures are relatively low and equal in all directions. An example is marble.
Well, that's very interesting. And lastly, could you tell us what metamorphic rocks are used for?
Well, marble is used for statues, and slate can be used in roofing materials and help with that kind of stuff.
Well, thanks for coming in today, Professor Metamorphic. Make sure to tune in to the third episode of Rocks. Hi, I'm Dave Skylark. This is the final episode in a series of rocks. Today we've invited in Dr. Sedimentary. So, we were wondering, what are the three types of sedimentary rocks?
The three types of sedimentary rocks are clastic, chemical, and organic.
Well, that's very interesting. And could you tell us how they are formed and give an example of each one?
Well, clastic is formed when weathering makes the rocks break down into pebbles, sand, or clay from exposure to wind, ice, and water. An example is shale. Chemical sedimentary rocks formed by precipitation of minerals from water, which means dissolved minerals come out of water. An example is halite. Organic sedimentary rocks formed from fossils or species of plants and animals. Example, coal.
Well, that is very interesting. And there's just one more thing we need to ask you. And we want to know, what can you use sedimentary rocks for in everyday life?
Well, you can use limestone to make cement. Rock gypsum is used to make plaster.
Well, I guess that's all we have time for today in the final episode of Rocks.
See you.